Welcome, chum, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Review from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike, and my head's like a shark fin.
I was just going to say, here we are to present Bluest, Deepest. My hat is like a shark fin. So, yes, we are continuing our look this month at Hollywood summer releases that were better than they had any right to be. And tonight we are discussing Deep Blue Sea, 1999, directed by Renny Harlin.
Yep.
Who gave us such movies as Cutthroat Island and The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
And Die Hard 2, right?
Yes, and The Long Kiss Goodnight, but...
Yes.
So last week, Mike had never seen RoboCop. So that was kind of like my contribution. I had never actually seen Deep Blue Sea. I was familiar with it, but I'd never actually seen it until this week.
And it's one of my favorites.
Okay. I guess what I have to say about this, in terms of it being like a popcorn movie, is that I guess you had to be there. You didn't see this. Did you see this in the theater, or did you?
I believe I did, yes.
Okay. Yeah. 1999 was a stacked year for movies. So, yeah, I did not go see this. But, so I'm trying to put myself in that mindset of what was, 27-year-old, still single, movie-going Andy just looking for in movies. And so I try to put myself in that context. And there is some stuff that is really good about this that I personally, as a first-time viewer, enjoyed. I like that it wasn't just, okay, well, these sharks can actually experience complex human emotions like revenge, kind of like the Jaws sequels at every Jaws ripoff. Right. They gave us a reason why. They're genetically altered. They're smarter because we want to eliminate Alzheimer's.
Right.
So I enjoyed the premise of this more so than the overall movie.
Okay. There's a lot of dodgy 1999 CGI that you have to look up.
You don't say. You don't say.
But like the models themselves, though, the actual shark, like actual physical models, those are really impressive.
Those look really good. But this is me watching the movie a lot like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that scene. All right, now everybody's aware that the most famous scene in this movie is Samuel L. Jackson giving the rousing speech halfway through the movie, and then a shark comes up and eats him.
Yeah.
The shots of him being dragged into the water are some of the dodgiest cut and paste I've ever seen. Like, ever. It literally looks like, okay, well, we have the shark right here. And so they just like Control V.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've actually seen some of like the footage without the CG, and they've got like kind of a rope pulling Sam Jackson down into the water,
right,
where he becomes a very dodgy CG effect.
There's a lot of really bad CG in this movie, and if it's not bad CG, sometimes it's bad body doubles, because there's that scene with Michael Rappaport getting eaten. And I told you this today, that the body double that they used was about as convincing as the one they used for Priscilla Presley when Ricardo Montalban is kidnapping her at the Angels game in The Naked Gun. It was that convincing. So it was just like one of those things that for me, trying to negotiate where I was enjoying this movie and where I was just like, I can't. There are certain things that even in a popcorn movie, I just can't shut my brain off for. And that was like one of those things. I remember. So I actually paid to see Lake Placid. Came out in the same summer.
Yep.
In the theater. And I found that was fun because it was just the one crocodile. It wasn't like you didn't always see the crocodile. So the special effects were used sparingly. Versus this, the other, monster, nature will rebel against us.
Right.
Film.
Well, I mean, one thing I love about it, though, is the fact that, like, it knows exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it lays out right in the front, like, yeah, this is like they kind of hint at it in the script is that it's a really ridiculous premise, and the sharks are doing stuff that they physically shouldn't be able to do,
Yeah.
like going backwards. But once you get beyond that, like it knows exactly what it is, and at least from my point, it does it really well. Like this is consistently voted in the top 5, if not number 2 best shark movies of all time, just behind some 70s.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
House
that
flick.
claptrap.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing I did appreciate about it. There were no higher pretensions. There were no like they could have easily made Saffron Burrows super unbearable. They could have made that character really like lots of speeches and all that, and they forewent that just so we could get a like a shot of her in her underwear because she had to ground herself with her rubber swimsuit.
Yeah.
I was like, so she's standing up on top of the thing and she unzips and it's like pure white, and I'm just like, all right, what's going on? Hello. This is her Ripley moment. This is Ripley getting into her underwear in the end of Alien.
What another thing I love about this movie is that all 3 of the sharks are killed in the manner that the 3 Jaws 1, 2, and 3. You got a gas explosion, a electrocution, and then
blown up. Just plain blowed up.
Yep.
And I appreciated that. Some of the sharks, like the kills. Here's the issue with the kills, and this is kind of an issue I have like throughout this movie is that it's almost like they gave everybody like their script and said, okay, you make up your own character, and however you foresee your character's background, we'll go with that. And LL Cool J was the only one who actually looked at the stuff and go, preacher, okay, all right, so he's definitely going to have a religious bent, but he's not like going to be Bible thumping or anything like that. I got it. I got my character down. And everybody else was just like, oh no, I forgot to do that. Well, cameras are rolling. Get out there. Because realistically speaking, at the end of the day, Preacher is the only character. Well, first of all, Preacher is the only character whose name I remembered.
I can name them all, but that's just me.
He just, because he lit up. I mean, it's funny because I don't see a lot of LL Cool J's stuff. I don't watch whatever CSI he does with Chris O'Donnell.
Right.
But I liked him in the movie. And for a while he was separated from everybody else, I felt that like I was watching a different movie. I'm watching 2 different shark movies. The one with LL Cool J, and then the one with the blonde guy and the brunette lady and the crying blonde woman and Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas Jane, it's clear that this movie got him Punisher.
Yeah, probably. He he definitely worked out for this. He was like, okay, you're not going to be shirtless, but you're going to be sleeveless throughout this movie. Can you work on your arms a bit?
Yeah, he even ripped off like he ripped off the arms of the wetsuit he was in.
Yeah, I don't need these to breathe. But that's the biggest issue with this movie, I feel, is that none of other than Preacher, there is no other memorable characters. The only person who comes close is Michael Rappaport's character, Scoggins, because everyone seems to love him, even though that came out of nowhere, and then they killed him.
Yeah, I texted you while I was watching it today. It's like, I've never been a fan of Michael Rappaport, and for like the first maybe half hour of the movie until like all the shit hits the fan, I'm like, this is the Michael Rappaport I don't like.
Yeah.
And once things start like going downhill, I'm like, okay, this is a Michael Rappaport I can stand.
Yeah. Michael Rappaport had, I mean, as an actor, it's funny because I don't care for him. I like him as a person, but not as an actor. He's done a lot of good works as a human being. But as an actor, the funniest thing I remember him doing was in the movie Mighty Aphrodite, where Woody Allen's character is trying to convince him to go out with Mira Sorvino's character, and he says that she's an actress. She is, but she's an actress in porn. And he's like, yeah, anything I would have seen? Well, she was in Schindler's List. Oh, yeah, Schindler's List. Wait, who are the bad guys in that one? The Nazis. oh yeah, they were bad motherfuckers. So that was, but that was that was the extent of my Michael Rappaport
Yeah.
stuff. So the weird thing about the characterizations too is there was a lot. I think a lot of this movie suffered under cuts and listening to the test audiences.
I mean, yes and no. Like I guess looking through some of the trivia myself, I guess the original ending had Preacher being killed off, and Saffron Burrows' character.
Susan.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Susan
looking at IMDb.
and Thomas James Carter. I guess because they had kind of a sexual tension throughout the movie, and I guess they were supposed to end up together. And then during one of the during the preview screenings,
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Dude, no, she's a bitch and she made all this. Why is she surviving?"
Yeah, no, she doesn't get to live. It was weird too because I saw that. I saw that and I'm like, it's tough because again, it wasn't like one of the things. Like, no, you can't kill the sharks, and she's constantly doing that because then that would kind of justify her being worse than she was. Yes, she did start everything, but it's not like it's not like she has that third act, change of heart where she'll sacrifice herself to the sharks. She was not. I mean, she literally killed one of the sharks on her own in her underwear. It wasn't like, it wasn't like, oh man, I hope she dies. It was just like, but the two of the other characters though, Janice and Jim.
Oh yeah. Stellan
Skarsgård and Jacqueline McKenzie. So there was a whole relationship written into the script, and shot.
You do get hints at it. You do get a lot of hints of it.
They hinted at it, but you know what they didn't hint at was the fact that she was also written as being pregnant, and they didn't feel good about killing a pregnant woman. So instead of saving the character, they just like, oh, okay, we just want to acknowledge it.
I honestly I appreciate because I think if I'd known like she was pregnant and the shark ate her, I was like, I'm not as comfortable with that.
But I think it was, while it was hinted at, there wasn't enough of that to go, oh, they could have at least come out and said that they had a relationship and not, they could have left it at that instead of this whole like, what is her deal?
There was enough there for me to like, especially like during the birthday party when they were just kind of being all lovey-dovey on the table.
So I mean, I feel bad for Stellan Skarsgård because he was really wasted in this movie.
Yeah.
Smoke, don't smoke, smoke. Get my arm chewed off by a shark,
and then
get slammed into the underwater space.
Yeah. Thing is, though, the characters are really, they're secondary to the whole just situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got a little bit like that Thomas James Carter was an ex-con.
Yeah.
He was on parole, whatever. Samuel L. Jackson's Franklin was this rich guy who had a mysterious past. And that, Saffron Burrows' character, Susan, she had just a deep need to get this research done.
She needed to get it. Yeah, because her father was suffering from Alzheimer's. She didn't want to see anybody else suffer that way.
Right.
And but that's the thing though, is that even though I mean, the fun is the sharks, but you got to care about the characters a little more in order to hope that they get out okay. And really, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I hope LL Cool J makes it. They ate his parrot. He's gonna get out of there.
And he did.
Voiced by Frank Welker. Also, this is the second. No.
The chirps were made by Frank Welker.
Oh.
The actual, like, when he was saying, fat butt and all that.
Yeah.
That was not Frank Welker. Who did that one? Because I was just looking through Wikipedia earlier and I saw that. You start talking.
Yeah, okay. This is also the second movie in a row, by the way, with Ronnie Cox, even though Ronnie Cox was uncredited in this movie. And I'm like, is that Ronnie Cox?
Yeah, I didn't even remember he was in this movie.
Yeah. Well, it was in uncredited scenes, whether he owed Rennie Harlan a favor or a shit ton of his stuff ended up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fun was the bombast of this movie. I mean, it is ridiculous. The weird thing is too is that what I liked about, and we have to go back to Jaws on this, is the suspense, that knowing that can they get away from the swimming thing?
Yeah.
Having things like the shark is essentially holding down on the tether of a helicopter, which is going to slam into the radio tower, killing Ada Totoro.
Brenda,
Sopranos.
I didn't even know she was in The Sopranos.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was Tony's sister. But that was just like, okay, it's fun to watch, but that's like, sometimes that kind of earns it. It's so good, so bad it's good type of moniker.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
Still looking. I found this a lot easier when I wasn't looking for it earlier.
Well, folks, if you know who actually provided the voice and not the Frank Welker chirps of the bird, leave a comment below and let us know. Show us up here, please. So it's just, this is just the interesting thing about this movie is, well, first of all, the longevity of this movie is incredible, because when it came out in 99, I was convinced this was just another disposable, horror flick. It's another big monster flick, just like, Lake Placid. I mean, the big hit horror movie of the summer was the Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah, well, I mean that was a big hit because it only cost like $10,000 to make.
Yeah, exactly. It costs what I have in my pocket right now, and it made tons and tons of money. I don't have $10,000 in my pocket, by the way. I'm just kind of making it didn't cost much to make joke, but yeah, I mean, the legs of this movie, or the fins, if you will, of this movie are pretty. Yeah, I see what I did there. It is pretty incredible. So while I don't think this is going to be one of those revisits and show my kids, because oh man, you got to watch this movie. It is definitely a product of its era. It definitely had the look and feel of a movie that came out in 1999. Special effects not included, because some of the special effects are inexcusable for that age.
Yeah, like I said, it's a movie that knows exactly what it is and doesn't try to be anything more than kind of a goofy, fun Jaws ripoff.
Yeah, and that's, again, I appreciated that about the movie. It was nice too to see that Rennie Harlan could get another hit after Cutthroat Island.
Right.
Actually, I'm trying to remember. Did Cutthroat Island came out after Long Kiss Goodnight or before? I want to say it came out after.
After what? Long Kiss Goodnight. No, before, I think, because I think Long Kiss Goodnight was right before this one, because that's what made Samuel L. Jackson want to work with Rennie Harlan again.
All right, I'm pulling it up right now. Okay. Jesus, he directed Class Reunion 3? Misfits, Bodies at Rest. Okay, let's go back a little bit.
Yeah, Cutthroat Island was 95. Long Kiss Goodnight was 96.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cliffhanger was 93.
Cutthroat Island was 93?
No, Cliffhanger was 93.
Cliffhanger was 93, right. And Die Hard 2 was 90.
Right. Oh, he also did Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yes, I think that was his first American film.
Yeah, very
possible.
Huh? Very possible.
Yeah. Yeah, because that came out, so Die Hard 2 came out the same year as The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Oh, yeah.
Same summer. And I don't know what the story was as to how they both came out at the same time. I don't think Ford Fairlane was the one with the delay. He had to strike on that dice iron and it was hot.
Yeah, well, so he did The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, so he's used to working with rubbery monsters.
Yep. We always talk about the music. Trevor Rabin's music was Trevor Rabin's music. Trevor Rabin does a lot of those Bay-esque action films, and it didn't stand out to me in the way that, we talked last week about that on the Patrol RoboCop theme.
Hmm.
Ba,
I
ba,
don't
ba,
know.
ba, ba.
The theme for this one, because I remember watching this movie in theaters and then coming out and just the theme actually stuck in my head, and it's a great one. It's one of the first themes I actually downloaded.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
But and then there's that ridiculous LL Cool J song at the end, which almost immediately undid all the goodwill I had for LL Cool J at that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Deepest, bluest, my hat is like a shark fin. What the fuck do you mean?
What kind of hat are you wearing?
Well, he used to wear like the Kangol hats. And I'm like, that's not possible.
No. And then you even watch it. I guess I saw a clip from his music video for this one, and he's just wearing like a little like a black skin cap.
Oh, he's just wearing like he's just wearing like one of those silk. There's a name for it that I am just far too Caucasian to actually know the name.
And I'm like, that doesn't look like a shark's fin either.
No, it doesn't. What's going on here, LL?
Yeah. Stop lying. Yeah,
so
for me,
yeah.
the scene that exemplifies LL Cool J's Preacher is when he's doing the video. It's like, if you find this, it means I didn't survive. How can I leave? What should be my legacy? The perfect omelet is made with 2 eggs, not 3.
And Deep Blue 3, the movie where the sharks have degrees in structural engineering.
Hey, those are bigger brains, all right?
Yep.
They were smarter
I'm
than
honestly amazed that we didn't see the same, a cut to the shot of the kitchen in Jurassic Park. At least they haven't figured out how to open doors. Click, 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 click.
Hey, he couldn't open the door, but he did turn on the oven.
Yeah, that was weird. And not to mention the fact that it only takes a small hand hatchet to cut through the bottom layer of a stove.
Yeah.
That also, by the way, had no burner. And, this is coming in someone who cooks. No burner. No, the things you pull out.
Trays?
The trays, yeah. There's no trays or anything like that. It literally is one empty box stacked on top of another empty box. The lower empty box has gas going into it.
Yeah, I was also, one thing that hadn't occurred to me any other time I'd watched it, but occurred to me this time, is like, there's gas filling the area. Are you sure you want to be using a metal axe to cut through a metal plate?
Yeah, exactly. Oops.
If
Go slow, that way you don't create sparks.
If a thrown lighter can ignite the entire room, why are you using metal on metal that may make a spark?
Right. And that is a 1 in a million shot too, because for the most part, Zippos will, if you throw a Zippo like that, it will probably go out.
Yeah.
And it was filled with air the second he snapped that thing. He lit it up.
But whatever. It was a fun scene.
Yep. At least he didn't have to outrun a fireball.
No, he just dove into the water.
Exactly. Here, under the water, it'll be safe. So, yeah, physics were not one of those things. But yes, Kevin, I appreciate that about the sharks. Awesome.
She made them smarter. Well, they made him smart. Personally, I think it was Stellan Skarsgård's character that actually was the mastermind behind it. I think she just went along with it because she wanted the results.
Right, exactly. And 15 pages of script had to be sacrificed, so we never knew that. So, and that's the thing too.
Enough there.
I will say this about the movie, because I did reading the trivia on IMDb that Rennie Harlan said this was one of the lowest budgets he's had to work with for what he had to do with the movie. Yeah. So, I mean, at least that shows up on screen. Unfortunately, the special effects also show that on screen. But just general cinematography, editing, those kinds of things do reflect that budget.
Yeah, I mean, it was a $60 million budget, which in 1999,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah. And it pulled in, I want to say 164. 164.6. So it was not a huge success, but it did make a modest.
Was that globally?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it kind of edged out a little bit of a profit. Nothing too terrible, but yeah,
There have been 2 sequels.
Which the less said about, the better.
Both one released in 2018, one released in 2020, both direct to video.
Yes, of course.
I have not seen the second. Actually, I haven't seen the second or the third one. I kind of want to watch them though. I watched the trailer for the second one, and it looked like it was pretty much this exact movie. Only with,
I'm sure it's kind of like what do you call it? It's like God help me here. Starship Troopers.
Oh,
with those terrible sequels.
Yeah.
All
right. Like the only difference in the second one is it's 5 bull sharks instead of 3 makos. Yeah.
So looking at this, DBS 2 is not available streaming anywhere, nor is DBS 3.
I know. If I want to watch them, I'm probably gonna have to rent them on Amazon for I think it's like $3 each.
Wow.
Yeah.
Better than you and me. You can report back on that next week.
Yeah. For as much as I. Oh wait, hold on.
This movie probably held the title of second best shark movie. Yeah, until The Shallows came. I've not seen The Shallows.
Actually, I did see that this one was rated higher than the Shallows.
Interesting.
I think
shark movies are oddly bad. Yeah, and a lot of that is because they're almost all Jaws clones,
and but without all the qualities that make Jaws such a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I have not seen The Shallows. I honestly, because we spend so much time, living in Massachusetts, we spend a lot of time at the beach. Super great movie. Okay. Yeah, we spent a lot of time at the beach. We just got back from the Bahamas. We're going to the Cape in a few weeks. So, yeah, sharks are a weird thing with us, which is weird because I did show my daughter Jaws last year. She loved it. My wife can't watch it because, we're going to the beach.
Yeah. In 2012, Pop Matters, an international online magazine, ranked this the 3rd best best shark movie, behind Jaws and Open Water.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with Open Water. Again, haven't seen it because, the whole near the ocean thing. But
yeah. In 2015, Den of Geek ranked Deep Blue Sea only behind Jaws. In 2017, in 2017, Slant magazine ranked it 7th and highlighted Jackson's death scene in LL Cool J's performance.
LL gets the honors.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you can't say enough good things about the Samuel Jackson's death, though. Because, I mean, it is so cliche, that entire scene. And they're like, no, we're just killing him.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is, too, I don't know if you ever watched the Clerks animated.
I've seen a couple episodes.
There was an episode where they kept bringing Samuel Jackson in, and a shark would just kind of come in and eat him, and then just...
Well, I mean, in Chappelle Show.
Oh, yeah. A shark ate me! A fucking shark ate me!
I guess,
why are you yelling? I can't help it. This is the way I talk.
I guess his speech was a lot longer, and he just looked at it and was like, "No, we're not doing that. Why not just have the shark come out and eat me?
Just kill me."
Yeah. I guess Harlan was against it, but as soon as he saw the finished product, he was like, "Okay, yeah, we're going with that."
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that wakes an audience up too.
Yeah.
So, anything else we have to say about Deep Blue Sea before we roll the credits?
No, I just think it's a really fun movie. And does it meet our criteria? Is it more fun than it has any right to be?
Yes. Yeah, it is. I mean, this movie could have been an absolute train wreck of a movie. Again, my criteria, it was still like, put yourself into that 99 mindset. I probably would have been miffed had I paid movie money for this movie. But, it was fun. I was kind of like listening to it at work. So it was like, I couldn't have like popcorn with me and be like, But
Fair enough.
anyway, so well, thank you, Mike, for recommending that to me, though. I'm glad I finally could check that off the box. So next week, we've got one more of these for the month of July. And this is going to sound weird because when we talk about movies that were better than they had any right to be, next week, we are going to be talking about Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Now, before you get upset with me, like, how dare you think this could have been a stupid movie? Put yourself in 1982. We had Star Trek the Motion Picture, a movie where my dad took me and then he fell asleep and left me technically by myself, 7-year-old Andy, by myself going, what's going on? Go do something!
Yeah, the budget was significantly slashed for the second one.
Yeah.
They took the movie away from the Paramount's movie division and gave it to Paramount's TV division. So you had a TV group making movies. So
yeah. So we're going to be talking about The Wrath of Khan next week. I'm looking forward to it. I love The Wrath of Khan.
It would be higher on my list if it hadn't psychologically scarred me when I was
right. Exactly. That's understandable, Mike. That's totally understandable. So we're going to be covering Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, but we want to know, what are your thoughts on Deep Blue Sea? Leave a polite comment below. Also, Kevin, thank you for that. Thank you for giving me that laugh. I really appreciated that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm. If you're new to the channel, hey, welcome. It's Shark Week or month or whatever it is. So if you're enjoying this, subscribe. We do this every week. Yep.
Speaking of which, doesn't Shark Week start on Sunday?
It might. I don't know. It's usually around the time we go to the Cape.
I saw a commercial before Deep Blue Sea saying Shark Week starting.
Yeah, I feel like Shark Week is now just Shark Month, Shark Summer. But
it's kind of weird when it's on Discovery Plus now, or Max.
But if you like what you saw, give our channel a subscription. We do this every week where we do retro movie reviews. We also put the audio stream to the podcast that Mike and I host, Geek Salad. You can get that here. You can also get that wherever you get your podcast. Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. We are on all of those. We just released, thank you, Mike, our latest episode where we rewrite history and come up with new casting for movies that did not fare as well at the box office when they first came out, but became beloved darling movies to us. It's a weird concept, so you got to listen to it, but I think you'll have a great time doing that. If you want to follow us on the socials, we are on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. We are on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads at Geek Salad Radio. So please give us a follow everywhere. It helps us out. If you're on iTunes, also give us that 5-star review. You don't have to listen to us or do anything. We just, do that. We always pay it forward too. Just shoot me a message in Twitter. We'll definitely be happy to help you out there. So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth. Andy Nerdful. We'll talk to you later.